And we are live, and I welcome everybody to join into today's sort of lighthearted version of Dining and Doodles. We're going to have a little bit of fun here with today's theme. For those who don't know, Aphrodite from Record of Ragnarok is an infamous meme. I will be showing that meme right as soon as I get to the picture here. I just want to expand it a little bit here before we get to the picture. Transform scale. And it is, if you're watching on YouTube or catching the title elsewhere, you understand the joke a bit. Maybe. If you don't, we'll get into it today as we do today's drawing. I want to just have kind of a little bit of fun with people today, and we're going to have a little humor with this drawing. We're going to be doing some more drawings as we go through and talk as usual. So let's see what the joke is. Of course, we are drawing Aphrodite from Ragnarok, who was infamous for, well, if it loads. Why is it not loaded? All right, let me double check here. Why am I not getting it in the window? Window, capture, properties. Clip Studio Paint. Done. Come on. Load it up. Aren't you loading? Alright, let me try one thing here. There we go. There we go. It is famous for this meme of Aphrodite having her breasts held up together in a very, very stupid but anime moment. Hey, Caliburn13. Great to see you join in here. Today, we're going to be doing a drawing of Aphrodite from Ragnarok. So I had to bring out the meme because, well, it's part of the character. So I've already done a sketch here of the character. We have an official color version of her as through the production quality, kind of like we'll usually do. But we have our little sketch drawn out so far. And we're going to work from here today and do that. And I just want to, like I said, I just want to have a little bit of fun today. I'm in kind of a weird mood. I've been watching very, very dark anime today. If you don't know, I'm on a stream with anime where we review anime, and we are doing Psycho-Pass. And we're only doing season 1 of Psycho-Pass. And this was my choice. I was the one to choose us for this for Halloween. And I'm kind of regretting it, continuing watching season 2. And now I've been on to the movie, and I had to take a stop from the movie because, my God, is that series relatable today. Been looking forward to my Dining and Doodles request. I'm glad. Did you? I did release a list, so if you check and see on the list on DeviantArt, make sure it's on there. If not, let me know. I just released it about 2 hours ago. I want to make sure everybody's is on there. Some of the requests I've moved about. I know I moved the Sven request towards December. I pushed that back into December for some certain reason. I do have a couple other requests to fill. I think they've got 2 empty spots in December between that request and a Christmas drawing. So I do have a few requests left open for the year. But we're almost to filling up the year. And as far as the Drawtober, I have finished that. That's one of the things I did. This one is it. Oh, okay, good. Well, then even better. Glad you like it. It's a good character. I didn't recall if you wanted to do this masking. I think we just were doing this as regular to draw her out. I know it was originally going to be a Drawtober, but it was your second request. And we're doing it now as this. The Drawtober requests are now complete, like I said. I finished the last one today. Um, I want to make sure I've got my pen working here properly because I did have to restart. Okay, pen is working properly. It's just coming out thick there for a second. And the people who can see it now, can see the final one, are my patrons. So if you're a Patreon sponsor, you can see the final. You can see the joke that is the 31st, that will be coming out on the 31st. I'm also eating a disgrace version of curry, which is American chili and rice, I guess. It's what I had, and it's not a very good chili. It was generic canned chili with beans, so it's definitely not the best of foods. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I've been watching too much Psychopaths. I've been watching too much serious, dark anime. I need to get a little bit of a break. I'll probably watch something stupid and silly after this, because I need it. And the longer and longer we go in the future, the more and more Psychopaths becomes reality, and it freaks me out. What happened went to the read watch R&R prep of this, firmly given the anime's problems. I haven't watched it yet, so I mean, or have I happened to read? I haven't watched yet. It is on my list to watch through Netflix. Right now, I am watching Comey because it's one I've been desperately to watch, and it's given it's a week to week. But I'm going to be getting onto some Netflix this weekend to watch some other anime that is on my list, and probably this is one of them. But like I said, I probably want some lighthearted, so I might skip over this and do this later in the week for watching. But I do plan to watch Ragnarok on there. As far as reading it, I don't know if there's a site. Let me check my phone real quick. There's a site I've been reading manga off of as of late, simply because it had a series of Jump that they don't release in Jump, which I'm kind of sad they don't. Record of Atari War, Gilcrest, Altier. Oh, yeah, I can read it. All right, I can read it off this site. So, yeah. I can pick it up and read it. Probably will read it then, because I know the anime is bad from what I've heard. So I'm going to read it then. It's only 48 chapters. It shouldn't be that hard. Or at least the site I'm seeing it on. It's not that bad. I do not promote, pirating sites at times, but at the same time, and I'm not going to give the name of the site, but at the same time, there are series like the series I've been reading that I love that Jump does not have, which is Gretzky Triangle. Jump has it officially. It's an official Jump title. So if you go to Shonen Jump in Japan, you pick it up in the books, or you read it on Jump, they have it in there. But it's not in America's Jump. The only lighthearted thing about anime is laughable animation quality. I kind of figured. Far cry from what is said about their Jim Hellsing Ultimate. Yeah. And that reminds me. Dang it. I make it a thing every year to watch Hellsing Ultimate, too. I think I'll just make it a year this year to watch the abridged Hellsing. They did an amazing job with Ridge. But I do have all of Hellsing as well that I could just sit down and watch. And I mean, I also have the Funimation app that I could just sit down and watch it there. But I mean, that is an annual tradition, sort of like watching Christmas anime for Christmas, to watch Hellsing. Because honestly, if you want any better if you know of any better Halloween themed anime than Hellsing Ultimate, I don't know what. I mean, zombie, vampire, Nazis are are the killer. And the lines are just so quotable in that series. But I think that's kind of why the abridged version, that I believe 4 Star was the ones to do it. Really good job of it. That I absolutely love. But yeah, I mean, I'll read it because I mean, since I have access to it, I'll read it. I've been reading a bunch of manga that you can't usually get in America, which is kind of a disappointment. There are some that you can, but there's a lot that you can't. Um, I've of course also been going through and doing. I don't know how many episodes I'm in on. I announced it a couple of weeks ago when I was on the anime stream that I am going through Rama One Half, and my God, there's so many episodes of Rama One Half that are just filler. But I mean, it's not like it's bad filler, but it's just filler of that series. Because I still have not gotten to the introduction of Gosen Kugi, who in the manga was introduced. God, I'd have to say like 3rd or 4th issue. Frankly, I can say the animation budget probably went to Aphrodite's galaxing scene or gainaxing scenes. Yeah. There's no doubt that the animators like to draw boobs in Japan. There is no doubt. Particularly, I mean, that shows in a lot of series. And if you see the budget go down, it usually is the boobs go up in size. So if you ever wonder if you had, because I know there are a few memes out there for some characters in anime to having lost their boobs. They're and I mean, the best way to point it out is in One Piece, where the boobs get ridiculously sized. Yeah, it didn't go to the first 2 fights. Okay. So, I mean, I imagine the series got an anime that it must have had good fights. So, I'm definitely going to have to read the manga on that. Because if the animation's horrible in fights, then it's a bad anime. Especially if it's your first fight. I mean, your first fight needs to draw your characters in or draw your audience in. But it is a Netflix anime, so, and I mean that's what had me worried with Komi coming out, because Komi's a Netflix anime, where Netflix paid to have it come out. But so far, and from what I've heard from people who've been pirating it, the animation quality has been on point of that series. It is high quality. Animation is probably one of the best looking Netflix original anime out there. And I mean, it's been a series that I've been waiting to come out. If you haven't read Komi, read it. It is by far a great and beautiful and funny series. It's cute, and that's all it has to be. And as I have to give credit to Lost Paws, aka Noble, for it, don't lewd Tadano. Or I mean, don't lewd Komi unless it's with Tadano. So I mean, that's the only time you can lewd her. If you lewd her with anybody else, then you're cheating them. They're the best couple. But I mean, yeah, I'd love. I'll pick it up and read it. I'll probably pick it up tonight and read it. You have a collection of light novels, particularly Konosuba light novels, to get on. It was the second fight that made the manga as popular as it is. The first fight was good, but the combatants of the second are what sent the series flying. Okay. I mean, I think, pretty much My Hero didn't take off until the school arc, or the school fighting arc. So, I mean, even that, and that's odd saying first season of My Hero. I think they upped the game a little bit because the first season of the book, or what's covered in the first season of the book, wasn't as great as the second season of what the anime covered. Sorry, I'm just taking a swig of some Built Boost, and I'll go over Built later because they actually have a sale of Built Boost, but I'm drinking it simply because I wanted some flavor in my water today. And I've got a bit of a natural high coming off of a nap, so. We're just doing toes. Toes are not as difficult as people make them to be. Probably also took a bit considering the chapter per month release. Yeah, I mean, if it's a monthly release, like a couple of books are, I mean, it's difficult to. You need to have that draw that keeps people coming back each month versus the each week. That a title like Shonen Weekly or the Shonen Jump itself, or let's see, I'm trying to think of another one. I think Shoujo Weekly also does. There's very few weekly titles actually out there that people don't realize, and I think they're limited to like 20 or 30 titles go about weekly, and you got to give mad props to the artists of those because I mean, my God, when I started Demon Blade out in 2013, and I'll probably do this during the stream that is the anniversary stream. I'll go over it. There's a chapter I did of Demon Blade called Demon Blade Zero. I did the manga challenge with it. And by that, I mean I did 16 pages from script to publication in a week. And it nearly killed me. Now, given mine was in color, but it is still, I mean, you can see why backgrounds are usually simplified unless you're going to do a very large background on a weekly series. That you focus on bigger scenes of one issue because how much you got to put in there. Makes me worry for the anime second season, considering the 6th round just finished last month, and the anime series seems to do 3 fights. So I mean, they're getting a second season. I mean, that's good. I mean, usually when people badmouth it, I mean, it's kind of weird for them not to get. But it was chapter 51 or 52 or so. You won't see until the end of the 6th round. Wow. So explain to me a bit about the series. As I think I recall, isn't it about gods basically having a tournament arc? Because I have not watched it or read it yet. And I think that's what it's about. Alright, I know I need to do her wrists. She doesn't have anything on her ankle. But she does have beads and bracelets. So we need to focus on those. Basically, gods decide to destroy humanity, and the Valkyries oppose Ragnarok to keep humanity alive, preying on the edge of the ego of the gods. Okay. Well, I mean, yeah. So I mean, basically, yeah, they go to fight over that. 13 rounds for the first 7 victories win. Okay, I got you. And I do like the idea that there's more than just Ragnarok is, of course, the term for the Valkyrie gods, or I mean, for the Viking gods, as are Valkyries and whatnot. Um, I do like that they have Aphrodite being Greek, Aphrodite in there. I imagine they have other gods in there. Being an anime, I wouldn't be surprised to see characters like Susanoo in there. So yeah, I mean, I get the idea. It's a good premise. I mean, I could see magazine retailers being like, yeah, yeah, we want to do an anime based off or a manga off of that, and we'll work from there, and then get an anime because yeah, it's like yeah, cool fight scenes. Japan likes its fight scenes. Let's see. Let's clean that mess up there I just made. Let's do you there. Do you there. They have all sorts of mythologies involved, Hinduism's involvement. It got banned in Netflix India. Hinduism, I mean, I've studied a little bit of the Hindu gods, but it's difficult because there's so many freaking gods in India, or in Hindu religion. Um, Hinduism is not a very nice godly relation, as far as their pantheon is concerned. So I'm kind of surprised at that. It's also a certain religion where Beelzebub, or rather God, rather than the devil, is a god rather than the devil. Huh. Well, I mean, I guess paganism is considered religion, so I mean, and they believe in the devil. So, does Aphrodite have a belly button for me to draw? I imagine they gave her a belly button. They gave her a belly button. Okay. So she was actually born, unlike her mythological born of the sea. She has a belly button. It was not I Dream of Jeannie'd out. For those who don't know, it's a very odd moment in television history. In the series I Dream of Jeannie, Barbara Gordon's, or I'm trying to remember that Barbara, who played the character Jeannie, they did it. She always was had her belly button or belly exposed, but they thought that a belly button was going too far for the censors, so they puttied her belly button so that she had no belly button. And if you can see in the series, sometimes you might see little crusts of where they puttied her belly button. Weird moment in television history. Also, be careful of the manga covers. They basically tell you who the fights. I mean, the site I'm reading off of, they show the covers briefly, but they don't show them all the time. And I guess it depends on where they're getting the source from. Um, they do try to get the source from official releases, but they also will. And I mean, that's kind of odd because I mean, again, Gretzky. I have to go back to a Gretzky Triangle. I love the series. If you don't have not seen it, I'll explain a bit of what the plot is of that series. You have a ninja protecting a girl who has basically shamanistic powers. Demons come after the girl because they are basically the Fed. The ninja gets cursed to be transformed into a girl and has to live as a girl and all the wackiness. So basically, it's Rama One Half meets Naruto. But she doesn't change often, back and forth. She's pretty much always a girl, and she struggles with her identity, which is why I kind of am surprised that the American Viz won't release it. But at the same time, it's risque on Jump's part, so I can understand why they don't do it. Hey, how's it going? I love Record of Ragnarok. I just caught up with the manga and anime, so I haven't caught up with it. Justin, I haven't caught up with it. And hey, thanks for tuning in, Justin. Love to see you here. Yeah. As I was saying in the beginning, I have not watched it yet. I'm going to read it. I did find out, yes, the site I've been reading, Agretsuki Triangle, it has it on there as well. So I will pick it up tonight and start reading it. I think you'll find a list of fighters for humanity and the gods interesting. More so those on humanity's side. Of course, happy to support. Yeah. Thank you. Well, I mean, you support more than most people because you do a lot of commissions, Justin, so I'll say that much. Although I will state, with the rate of money going up, commissions are going to probably be going up at the end of the year. I don't know as to what. I'm waiting to see what the markets are. But I am going to have to probably start raising rates on things. I'm going to try and keep Patreon down, and I'm going to start doing sponsorship through DeviantArt because DeviantArt now has that function. So I'm going to start doing that as well. And also because DeviantArt's been harassing me to do it. They've kind of been like, hey, you do this all the time on Patreon. Come do it also with us. It's like, okay. So they've been twisting my arm to come back and do that. And if you didn't know, yes, DeviantArt now has tier lists that you can do. Sponsored tiers of material. From what I've been seeing, I mean, it's kind of like Patreon. I haven't really seen anybody use it yet, which is why they've been kind of going on at me about it. They, in fact, raised my ranking with them so I would do it. So we're going to be adding DeviantArt as the list. So if you're not a member of Patreon, you can't be a member of Patreon for some reason, but you follow me on DeviantArt, I will be doing a DeviantArt-like setup that I do on Patreon that will have the same setup. So you'll be able to put in your requests from now on to be able to get requests of art on the weekly stream or on the weekly drawings with Patreon. There will be tiers, so if you have a higher tier, you may be getting more stuff. And I'm trying to get better with the tiers, and I'm trying to get better with commissions as well. Trying to organize a lot of things right now, and I'm almost to the point where I kind of need an assistant, but I can't afford an assistant. Just like I need an editor, but I can't afford an editor. But I mean, I'd love to get to those points. But at the same time, I know money's getting tight for people. Prices of everything is going up. So I'm going to try and keep things low as far as the Patreon requests are. But commissions, I mean, I had somebody today requesting artwork who didn't want to pay the current $25 rate for commission. And I was like, well, I mean, unfortunately, I can't go below that because that is kind of the minimum these days, and it's getting higher. There was somebody on Facebook going after trying to seek for somebody to do animation for $25, and it's like, no way. I mean, one drawing is at $25, and that's a low rate. an animator is going to be a lot more. Animation should start at, I mean, depending on what you're looking to get done, minimum, you know, $150 to $200, I'd say. These right now. Yeah, I mean, you at least have a truck driver job. I'm trying to get another job, as I've been stating before. Um, my big issue has been my health. I've been unable to move part of my body all the time. I can't trust it, so I have to take a job that requires me to be on a computer or to be on phones or something like that. I can't do it on be on my feet all day. Otherwise, I just take another retail job and be done with it. Um, I wish it weren't the case, but that is sadly the case. Um, and I mean, but I mean, like I said, money's getting tight for people. So I will try to do things more free. I mean, dining and doodles is a good way. If you can't pay for something and you want a nice little drawing, that's what this series is for. It's going to be always. I'm going to keep this as a free series. So if anybody, that includes new viewers watching this on now or off, if you want to request something to be streamed or to be done drawn wise, by all means, I will put it in the list and I will put it in the drawing. So it is free for requests. This is mainly to get my name out there publicly. That's why I do this series, why I do most of these streams. It both gets my name out there and gets my properties out there. So you can check out stuff like my comic series Demon Blade. I'm going to be doing a couple of book releases next year. So I mean, Demon Blade book 1 is going to be coming out, at least digitally, as for that, and then 11 Kingdoms, once I finish editing, which has been a grueling process, is going to be coming out physically. I'm also going to try and do the Isekai physically. Always feels weird with multiple requests, even if it's spaced out, whenever you really know how much time to really give. I try to go with the 2-hour limit. So, I mean, with commissions, I'll give, infinite amount of time. Because there's someone who's paying for the product. But with request, I try to limit myself at 2 hours, and I'm literally eating while I'm doing this request most of the time. Today, like I said, I've got a really bad bowl of what I'm calling American curry, even though there's no real vegetable in it. It is just a bowl of rice and a can of chili that someone gave me. It's not the best. I've eaten about half of it while I've been talking to you guys. And I will be gassy as hell later because of this. Okay, let's see. I'm just trying to see. The flowers in her hair aren't that difficult to draw. Her hair is the more difficult part. So I'm just trying to see. And she's actually got, I need to redo her eyebrows a bit because she's got different eyebrows. Let's redo the eyebrows. I'm requesting from other people, but also interesting to hear your thoughts on time to time. Well, I mean, one of the biggest interesting thing is the amount of masking requests. As I reported before, I'm not into masking, but I am apparently one of the foremost artists for masking. And it came about with a request I did almost 5 years ago, 6 years ago, maybe even longer than that, of a Steven Universe, and it took off. And I try to, especially if it's a fandom, always respect the fandom. that somebody does, because they love it. I mean, they have a reason to love it. I want the same with my own work, that people find into fandom. I've had a couple people that have been fans of some of my work in the past, and it's always nice to meet them. And, you want to respect somebody else's love. And I, while I personally am not into masking, I will, enjoy having talks and letting people make their requests. And so, I mean, that's what's happened. And so, I mean, that's why I've got a lot of masking fans out there. Uh, I don't like the idea of somebody who just rejects people that come up with fandoms um, of other series. I mean, there can be people that are problematic. I noted on a stream a couple of weeks ago with some friends that were talking about one particular person who's problematic, notoriously so, Chris Chan. I have met Chris Chan in real life. I met him through cons, and I will call him a him because I don't think her transition was really of her own thought. But I've met Chris Chan at both cons, and actually because I'm in the Richmond, Virginia area, and Chris Chan comes from Charlottesville. Chris would come down into my area, and actually to a GameStop I would go to, and she would show up there. And so, I mean, yeah, I've met Chris Chan a few times. Have I had a problem with Chris Chan? No, I don't really care. I've known them only in passing. Um, they've talked to me a few times when I went to go to cons, but I have not been back to cons since 2007. So, but yeah. And I mean, at the same time, I don't agree with the hate that Chris got. Now, Chris kind of brought it on themselves in some sense. But I mean, I do feel autism came into play a lot with Chris. Um, and it was disturbing. Certain elements of fandom can ruin the idea of being a fan, just like fans of MHA. Yeah, I don't understand the idea of harassing the creators. I'm being a big fan of One Piece. I would never harass Oda. I would never harass Oda about what his choice is. Oda could be like, well, there is the One Piece, and it's a big vat of beans, and Luffy would be happy about it. Now, given those would be very spoiled beans, but I'm sure a lot of fans would hate it. Of course, a lot of people want or say it's, oh, the friends you made along the way, and Oda said, bullshit, he doesn't like that answer. But there are elements I'm not happy with what Oda made a choice, but I'm not going to bitch about him in that sense. And I mean the same with Kubo and Bleach. I disliked Bleach after the Soul Society arc. I didn't care for it, but I never really hated Kubo and his work. With Chris, I also think it was lousy parenting. The fact that moms, yeah, Chris's parents were not any helpful. I don't think Chris's parents were, honestly, and it was sad. Um, and I can't say much because I'm not much better in my own life place. I am trans. I am, of course, deal with things, and I get some of the issues, but I mean, as a trans woman that's dealt with those issues and having seen because most of Chris's stuff has been put through live on stream, I I don't think Chris was trans. And a lot of people, I've taken flack over my statement before about trans community. A lot of the trans community out there these days aren't trans. I will flat out say that. A lot of them want to use it as a crutch, um, and it's sad. Uh, and I've stated that years ago when I did the sort of writing series called Path of the Butterflies. Um, so yeah, but this harassment wasn't even over the story; it was over not posting a chapter for 1 week. Yeah, that I Oda took that kind of crap too when he started getting sick. And I think the only person they kind of forgive, and I don't even think they forgive him, is the creator of Hunter x Hunter. Um, and him being out all the time for being sick. But I mean, honestly, as someone who's done the weekly challenge, it takes a lot out of you. And I have mad respects for anybody who makes it to Shonen Jump. In that sense, because my God, their bodies are going to be killing them, even with assistance. It's gonna kill you. And I don't know how Oda does it and then smokes like he does. He joked, I know, back at Dressrosa, when he was doing Dressrosa, that he was going to start taking soccer to get his health in better shape. And the man needs to stop smoking as much as he does, because it's said he goes like 3 packs a week or something like that. Doesn't sleep and has like 3 packs a week, and so it's like, yeah, it's not good for your health. And I mean, I respect Shonen Jump publishers for releasing so much work, but let their writers and their artists rest once a week or once a month. Come on. Just give them a chance to take a nap. And the fandom needs to be the same. And Oda smoke. Oh yeah, Oda's a horrible smoker. Uh, in fact, I think one of the few pictures of Oda that has leaked in the past has been his smoking. And his ashtray. His ashtray was like full of cigarette butts. The dude is a chimney smoker. Um, the only reason I know of that is One Piece podcast noted it, and they put out the pictures of Oda, his smoking habits, and they've talked about it. And One Piece podcast, the one benefit they have there, I know only gets sleep 3 hours a day. That is true. He does only sleep about 3 hours a day. Um, Working while they sleep deprived. Yes, they do work while they're sleep deprived, but yeah, he only gets about 3 hours of sleep a day. He does most. He's gone to digital, which is I'm surprised. He was one of the ones that was fighting to stay traditional art, but he's gone digital as of late, and I think that's why an improvement in his quality has gone up. Um, but at the same time, he's the translator in Jump for English is involved with Oda a little bit because his staff will talk to him and they go back. So Steve, who does the translations in the American version of Jump, and he's on the One Piece podcast, and they'll talk about Oda's health now and then, about what he's doing. I think it was the during the war against the Marines and Whitebeard. That's when he got bad throat problems. He had tonsillitis, but it was basically worsened because of his smoking habit. So he had to take some time off during then, and that pissed off a lot of his fandom. They were like, "Well, how dare he be gone all this time? Well, he was gone because he was sick. The man was dying." And now because that he takes his once a month break, and it's now part of his contract that he's out once a month on drawings, and it's because it almost killed him. Um, I mean, just I can tell you, an artist's life, it's not the healthiest thing. I mean, since I've been home since January. Also, Embry, are you a fan of Kingdom Hearts? Mainly asked because I have a concept art in the works for KH Idea that happens to use a version of Aphrodite as the main character master. I am a fan of Kingdom Hearts in a sense. In fact, we have a Kingdom Hearts comic that I've been doing. That is the. Uh, in fact, I just got reminded that I need to put it on the list that I put out. That is the Princess Pets comics series on DeviantArt. That is Kingdom Hearts based. I am amused that Kingdom Hearts, that Sora made it into Smash, but I was not amused by the fact that Disney almost completely wiped their end of the content from the character going into Smash. So no Disney element other than the Mickey keychain is in Smash. So the only thing that is Disney related is the Mickey keychain. And I'm kind of surprised they got that. And they probably had to fight tooth and nail just for that. I am also be interested to see where Kingdom Hearts goes from now, because I hear Disney is breaking from the series. So it'd be interesting to see what Square does with the series from this point. But yeah, I mean, I could do something with Kingdom Hearts if you want. You wanted Sora with Aphrodite? That's not a problem. Or did you want one of the other characters with Aphrodite? I mean, I played. I've got all the games on my PlayStation. I can say that. I'm not going to rebuy them on the Switch. I don't see the point. The 3 kind of pissed me off as far as what it was like. I didn't feel like it had much of a story that I liked, and I kind of just felt like I was like, well, what's this? Oh, well, you need to go back and play, Dissidents of Dreams and learn all about this part of the plot. And it's like, I'm lost. And I kind of felt that way replaying 1, to be honest. This is from Original Fan Idea. Should send you a link when it's done. It involves time-related creatures that mess with time and the worlds invade. I think it's like Chronophage. Okay, from Eden Zero. Okay, so kind of like, okay, I've been watching Eden Zero. I'm a fan of Eden Zero. And I get the Chronophage, the giant snake-like dragons. I got you. Artist life isn't easy, which is why you and my comic artist, I really do try to make sure you don't overwork you. I mean, you're not overworking me. I will say that a lot of what of my overworking is a combination of health, eating poorly. One of the things I'm regretting more than anything without having a job is not eating enough fresh stuff. Honestly, and I'll make this plea: if you give to a food bank, give vegetables. For God's sake, give some vegetables. I know people don't like the idea of canned vegetables, But my God, I've been eating tubed meat for a couple of weeks now, and I can't say it any better than the word tube meat, because it's in the plastic tube of hamburger meat, so you can't tell its age, um, and you can't tell its quality either. And the only thing I get vegetable wise is some asparagus, and I am not a fan of asparagus. Um, and then I get some rice and beans. Now, remarkably, well, those are all shortages of those things. I'm getting those things. I'm kind of surprised. That's one of the things I didn't like about being over the road trucker was all the truck stop food. Yeah, the truck stop food, I can imagine it's not great. OC Keyblade wielder for main character has Della Duck from Duck. Okay, Della Duck, yeah, serving for the same role as Donald and Goofy for R for Sora. Does she heal more than Donald? That's the question. Does she heal more than Donald? I saw a Donald Duck joke of I think the evil version of people, and I saw the evil version of Donald Duck today, and they said the evil version of Donald Duck cast cure. Because that's the most one of the more annoying things in Kingdom Hearts. Donald Duck will not heal your ass when he has the spell. I don't know where the meme that Donald healing started. I never had any problems with him healing me. I mean, I always get Goofy the one healing me, and he'd use the hell out of all of my healing potions. Um, so I mean, I'd be waiting for Donald to actually do something. Occasionally, I'd get a comment from him, but I'd rarely get him to actually do anything. So I kind of get the Donald memes. Um, I mean, he does feel underpowered throughout the games for being the magic user of the party. But all in all, Kingdom Hearts is more a slasher. It's just a running slasher. I don't think there's a game that I can think of that has a good NPC aid on your side. Particularly one that will help you in any way get through the games. I don't know where the okay, yeah. I mean, it's something silly, but I agree. It's dumb, but it's funny. In my opinion. All right, let's try and do her bracelets here. So it looks like she's got a thick bracelet on this side. If you were to set my idea, the ultimate timeline is early into Mickey's training under Yen Sid before the events of Birth by Sleep. Okay. I played a little bit of Birth by Sleep, so I kind of get it. I don't think I've ever beaten the Birth by Sleep story, but I know what you're talking about. I think I've only beaten out of the Kingdom Hearts games. I've only beaten the main three. So I've beaten 3. I've beaten in 2 and 1. And I mean, I liked the idea. They were cool. The concept was cool to see Disney take part, but I mean, the same part. I knew Disney. I know the Disney lawyers better than anything, and how just so happy they are if you screw something up with the Disney brand. And I mean, I'm kind of surprised that Kingdom Hearts has gone as long as it has with them. Only beaten 1 and 3. I've only beaten Aqua's Story. 2 is not. I mean, 2 is probably the best fight in my opinion. So if you want a decent one, I will say 2, especially the end fight in 2 is probably my favorite. Even though it was mostly quick times. 3, I kind of felt like it was repeating 2 a bit in the end. But then the ending to 2 was probably the best. Speaking of Kingdom Hearts, there's AV Jenna episode. I have not seen his episode about the chronology. No, I watch Angry Video Nerd at times. I have not seen his going through the chronology of it, so that would be an interesting one to watch. I think out of YouTube, if you want to see what I usually watch on YouTube, I've gotten into watching a lot of VTubers, of course. Being a VTuber myself here. I, of course, watch Mouse on occasion. I watch Connor, even though he's not a VTuber. So I watch Sea Dog. This might get me lynched out, but I don't really care for 2 outside beginning in Twilight Town. And the end of the world was never was. It was. I get it. I get it. I definitely get it. And they were trying to fit things together and bring the plot about. The setting was. They wanted to make the world seem bigger than they did in the first PlayStation game, but then they went with I was about to say in the second PlayStation game, or in the PlayStation 2 game, but the PlayStation, both of them were PlayStation 1, weren't they? Initially. Only 3 was PlayStation 4, so. But they're now all coming to Switch, so it doesn't matter. So I do find that amusing that they're coming to Switch. I think Square and Nintendo have finally buried the hatchet, in a sense. They still won't bring over 7 for probably size-wise means in the concept of you can get Final Fantasy VII Remake on the Switch. I don't think we'll see that happen. I'm kind of surprised we don't have Persona on the Switch yet, but I think it's an exclusivity issue. And both made bigger because the Disney Pixar worlds properly interact with the Final Fantasy-esque characters outside of the worst world. Yeah, Frozen was not the best world in 3. I think that was purely thrown in there at the last minute. They were going with all the other worlds, and they were like, well, Frozen's really popular. Let's put Frozen in. And I think a lot of what tacked on the time and the wait for 3 was because of Frozen. And yeah, there's just... Frozen was just there. There's no story to Frozen in there. And it's kind of disappointing. I love Frozen. I mean, as much crap for Disney people give Disney's Frozen, I love the series. I love the film. I love the second film. Frozen was a good story. But it is a Hans Christian Andersen film or story that I kind of based Demon Blade off of. So, I mean, the Snow Queen is where my essentially comes from. Nomura actually explained in the interview that Frozen was added back when Frozen was had Elsa as the evil queen. I could see that. The initial I know the initial concept was to keep Elsa as evil because the Snow Queen is evil. If you follow the original story, the Snow Queen is evil. She never turns. Um, Shows involves Heartless as boss at the end. I could see that. I could definitely see that. Um, yeah, I mean, having watched some of the details about Frozen in the making of, I could see that. I know that Elsa was always meant to be the villain. Um, but at some point they decided, hey, no, she's not the villain. She's actually one of the good guys. She's just torn and misunderstood. And I mean, I can't say much there because I mean, like I said, Demon Blade, Maya's kind of based off of the Snow Queen from Hans Christian Andersen. So there's a similar basis there. So I understand it. I mean, the idea of this woman who sort of strikes a deal with you to deal with her heart, basically. And I mean, I was gonna save it a bit for the Embryard stream, but I will go ahead and say Demon Blade originally was going to be a horror story when I created it. It was originally supposed to be a horror story with Maya as the villain. And Tetsu and a few of his character friends, which were named Shin, Kagami, and I think Ito, were going to be escaping her. It was originally supposed to be a horror story. Compared to Sully meeting Ventus, Woody going to Hiroto Kojo, and Youngzar. I mean, there's another concept. Woody was originally supposed to be a villain. And Toy Story. And I think I haven't seen 4, but I think from a lot of people that concept finally came through in 4. That he is an asshole and a villain. But yeah, Woody was originally supposed to be a villain. Jack Sparrow shutting down Luxembourg. I'm trying to remember. See, I don't even remember much about the Pirates of the Caribbean scene in 3. Did they try to do the second and third movie with Davy Jones? I don't recall. I know Jones is in it. I know Jones is trying to make a deal with the Heartless. Yeah, they were. I mean, that's kind of what I didn't like about 3. It was a grind because you had to keep going back and doing everything. Just the third movie. Okay, so it was just the third movie. And see, the third was less fun than the second movie, in my opinion. The second movie was a little bit more entertaining. And the fourth was absolute. Yeah, the fourth was okay. A lot of people rag on the fourth. I'll give the fourth was okay. Although the part of that is my love for the actor that played the villain. I'm forgetting his name, but I've loved him since he was in Deadwood, and he played Al Swearinger. I think I watched the fifth. I agree. I think the fifth was stupid. Um, and I don't like the present premise of the sixth movie so far that I've heard. I don't know why they're doing a sixth, other than apparently China loves it, and these days Disney dictates everything by China. Um, so I'm kind of disappointed with Disney. I can't. It's kind of the reason why I don't have a Disney Plus account anymore. Is because I feel like everything they make these days is just to appease a country that I am not a part of. Apparently, more works, but Johnny Depp's. Well, from what I understand, it's not really Johnny Depp being the issue. I think it's more his wife or former wife, Amber Heard, being the issue. Um, I mean, both of them are a problem. I mean, Johnny Depp was a problem from the get go. Um, I mean, he's kind of ran along with Robert Downey Jr. for the in the past with drug issues, and I mean the two acted together in a lot of films early in their career. Um, so I can see Depp having issues there, but the courts and all this other stuff has proved that Amber Heard is more of the problem there um, than Johnny. And I do kind of feel sorry for Johnny because it has kind of destroyed his career. While Amber's still kind of going with a career, but her career is kind of on the down low too. Um, and she's not that great of a person either. Apparently, she's a very bitchy person, in more ways than one. And I mean, you meet that in all types of personalities. I mean, you meet that in the anime world, especially if you meet some of the actors and actresses. Um, I'm not going to name names because some of them I do know actors and actresses, and in fact, my heart went out to Greg Ayers and his brother's loss this week with Chris Ayers. Those who didn't know Chris, he was the voice of uh, Frieza in the latest versions of Dragon Ball. Um, he wasn't the first voice of Frieza, but he's the later versions of Frieza. So it's sad to lose Chris. I've met Chris a few times, as well as his brother. Both of them are local, come from my hometown, um, here in Richmond, Virginia. And yeah, I gave my well wishes to Greg with his brother's passing. Yeah, and it's kind of sad. Chris was always. I as I said on another friend's page when we were talking about it. I don't think I've ever seen a moment with Chris when he was not smiling and having fun at a con. I really don't. I mean, Greg occasionally will have a little bit of an attitude, but I mean, Greg gets a little bit dramatic at times, but I mean, he's still a good guy. Um, but Chris, I think, is always, even if Funimation basically voice copied doing Frieza, pretty much the same as him. Yeah, well, I mean, his brother's going to probably pick up the role. I think his brother picked up the role a little bit in the past because they do have similar voices. Um, and while Greg's a little bit more well known, his brother Chris has done some major roles. So, and Frieza is one of them. Chris was also a very big director in Funimation's group. So, I mean, Chris did a lot of directing. So it's kind of sad to see him go and pass. But I did know for a couple of years he's been sick. In fact, most of the time he did Frieza, he was, as Funimation posted, 50% of his health. He was not in good shape doing the voices, but he was still doing it. And he was putting his effort in. And I gotta respect that, you know. The man was a boss about doing his job. And my heart still goes out. Like I said, it goes out to Greg. And I a few years ago they lost their dad, and that was kind of tragic for the both of them. And now he's lost his brother. So it is kind of sad, but it happens. And I mean, like I said, there are some talents in the VAs that I've met that are problematic. And then there's some great personalities. Greg actually, in general, is a great personality. Um, and his brother was a great personality. I know, in fact, I one of the drawings I did today, and I've discussed this before. The voice of Zoe Henge, Jessica Calvuto, is a good friend of mine through Facebook and through conventions. We've met a couple times, and she's a great actress. She's a pervy actress, but she's a great actress. She likes to be raunchy on things. I've known her through the years. So I mean, yeah, it's you get to meet people through the conventions, and it's how you kind of get to learn people, um, and what their likes are, and what their interests are, and what's coming down the line. So I mean, it's good. And so yeah, having that news, it was kind of sad. Um, I think the only way we'd have a bigger loss right now for Funimation, voice wise, is if something happened to Klinkenbeard right now. Colleen Klinkenbeard does so many voices and is the voice of Luffy. So if something happened to her, unfortunately, I don't wish it. My God, I don't wish it, because she does a great job uh, being Luffy. And as far as I can tell, she's been a great personality. I've just never met her. Um, that would be a huge loss to Funimation if something happened to her. I mean, Sabat, same. Eric Vale, the same. Both of them are big voice actors in Funimation. Um, I will say I've heard stories about Sabat. I've never met the guy. I've heard I've heard great stories about Eric, and I've heard bad stories about Sabat. Um, Although, I mean, I'm not going to diss people for personalities. And it just kind of goes back to the whole Chris Chan thing. Like I said, people's personalities, and it just I don't hate people for their fandoms. I hate people for how they act to other people more than anything. Um, and I think that's kind of when you have a situation where people don't really, or who take their fandom so seriously, so deeply, that they can't accept your a criticism from it. It kind of destroys them. And I mean, that's kind of what happened, I feel, with Christian. Is they didn't understand the world, and when they got into people making fun of their world, the toxicity of fandoms just kind of destroyed it. And Chris is going to have to pay for their crimes if they're real. I will be paying attention. Of course, I live in Henrico County, which is where the case went down. Uh, it's literally right down the road from me. Uh, where can I find your TOS? My TOS. I'm not familiar with what you mean your TOS. My terms of service? Terms of service. I don't think I have one. I don't think I have a terms of service, honestly. I probably should write one. I really probably should write one. I've not really known how to do one, but I will have to probably study up and read one and write one. I've had one issue with one person who got toxic with me, and it was somebody. And I don't. Like I said when the incident went down a few weeks ago. I'm not going to name names, so they will remain anonymous through it because I don't want to trash them and I don't want them to be trashed. Basically, I don't like it when people continuously message me and contact me about their work and when is their work coming out and how they want their work done, because that affects the artist's process. And it's something that's not just me, but most artists, it's kind of overlooking their shoulder. Which actress? Which actress was I talking about? I don't know which one where you're at, Cooking Dojo. Are you falling behind? Which actress do I know? It's Jessica Calvillo. Which actress was I talking about earlier? Was Colleen Clinkenbeard. If she's lost, then Funimation is in horrible shape because she does so many voices for them. And I'm told she's got a great personality. I've just never met her in person. But I've met Jessica several times. I also know Lisa Ortiz, aka Lena Inverse, and the first voice of Chopper, the 4Kids voice of Chopper. So I mean, I've met both of them, and I still follow them through Facebook, and we've chatted a few times on Facebook. But those two I know the most. Had a dinner party with her in Hawaii. Well, it was for the VP party at the Kawakan. Hey, they're great people, man. They're great people. I love them. They're a riot to hang around. I think I officially met both of them. God, it would have been KatsuCon 6. Would have been before SnowCon of KatsuCon, which is an infamous moment in KatsuCon history. Those who don't know, I think it was 2000 was the year that it occurred, SnowCon. You had a convention, NDC, in the middle of February, because it was literally Valentine's weekend, and a huge snowstorm came through and literally blocked everything. And this hotel was right across from the airport. And the last day of the convention, everybody was snowed in. So if you didn't leave by Saturday, you were stuck in that con till Tuesday. So they had an unofficial extra 2 days of KatsuCon, which was nicknamed SnowCon, because everybody was trapped and they could go nowhere. I think the hotel, comped everybody, letting them stay because they couldn't go anywhere. It literally was like 2 feet of snow dropped in one night. And the only reason I remember that is because I tried to go to college that day. And I made my way to college in the snow because I was able to get on clear roads. But by the time I got back, or got there, all my classes were canceled and I had to drive back home, um, which sucked. But I mean, it was a large amount of snow for that year. Um, and it was just hilarious because I mean, I left the con early, so I got out of there before the snow. But everybody behind me and were stuck. They couldn't get out. I mean, cons are entertaining. Always suggest, go and check out the cons. Um, I know they're different these days. I've been watching the guys on Trash Taste go on about cons. In fact, Joey, the anime man, and I'm kind of reluctant to call him the anime man because he doesn't like being called the anime man anymore. Uh, was going on went to a con, the Tokyo show, con in Tokyo, and it was empty. And this is the big video game show in Japan. And they had it this year. Apparently, they didn't have it last year, but they had it this year. And he went there with his girlfriend and a couple other people, and it was vacant. They only let influencers in, so they wasn't really a real con. And I'm seeing some cons come back. One you said was a bit pervy. That's Jessica. Jessica's the perv. Jessica's a huge perv. I mean, just watch her Facebook. Colleen was very nice. Okay. I mean, Jessica lives up to the perv concept. I mean, her first big role was Cutie Honey. So I mean, that goes to show you something. And oh my God, actually, it reminds me of something. Thank God Discotheque is finally releasing it. If you can, check out the Cutie Honey live action series. Discotheque is finally releasing it. I don't know if they're dubbing it, but it is probably one of the funniest live action and well done live action shows I've seen. Sent chat on DeviantArt with a link of mine in case you want an example of terms of services. We need to be will need tweaking, but I given up a link due to writing while you were manufacturing. Okay, no problem. No problem. I will definitely look at it, and I will look through the terms of services, and I definitely will have to write up terms of services. There's a couple things I got to do that are functional, and there's legal stuff I've got to do like crazy, and I haven't done. There's a lot of legal paperwork in being an artist, and I kid you not. I laugh at the concept every year when I have to tell my funds to the government, and they're asking me, well, what are you claiming this for? I was like, I drew art. Did you go to Katsucon the first year when it was in Virginia Beach? No. I started at Katsucon 5 when it was in DC, up at Crystal City. But I was one of the first people for Anime Mid-Atlantic. In fact, I was one of the invited artists of Anime Mid-Atlantic, the first one. And talk about small con. I mean, I think there was 5 artists, myself there, and a handful of people, and everybody was pretty much in this main room, and that was it. And we had a soccer group kept trying to get in, and they kept doing that a couple times. And I went to every Anime Mid-Atlantic until 7. I think actually after 7. I think after 7 I quit going to any cons. That's kind of when I ended cons. And I still remember the one time we went to the Anime Mid-Atlantic up here, not too far off of West Broad here in Richmond. And it was a bar setting. I think you were there, Justin, that year. And we had so many drunks coming in and asking for art from the artist alley. And the con people kept trying to keep the drunks out. And that was interesting. That was interesting. Um, I know you were at the 6 and 7 because I know I saw you there when we were at the actual convention center. Because that's when you requested art from me, I think. But I don't know if you were at 5 because I think 5 was the bar one, the situated one. I kept pushing the guys of Anime Mid Atlantic to go to the convention center. And then they decided to go and join the NecoCon people at Virginia Beach. After 7, so. And for those wondering how I had so much influence and how I got all that, I ran one of the first anime fan magazines. It's something I will discuss more during the 25 years that is Embry Arts. Back in 97, I started a fan magazine on the internet. It was probably one of the first fan magazines in general on the internet. And it was called Anime in America. Not related to the YouTube video or channel. I do have to state that while Robin's a great person and I love and respect her channel, yes, Anime in America was the name of a fan magazine first. That was from 96 to 2003. I think that's when I finally ended it. And it was ended because I couldn't get enough people writing. I only had like 2 other writers, and they were elsewhere in the United States. We did get a few early jumps on people. I know back in, I think the first year that Kite came, well, yeah, the year that Kite came out, we were the first to review it. Another reason that the magazine downfall was Anime News Network came out and took over. But one of the things we focused on, we did some reviews. We got conversations. We met with the Lees, who were Amanda and Jason Lee. I don't think they do any voice acting these days, but they were big ADV actors. Of course, well, Amanda's most famous role was Rei Ayanami from Ava. But yeah, we did that. We did a fan magazine for a while. We got a few scoops because our main rival in America, which was Viz Run, while they had the backing of Viz, they did not have. They had a monthly release, and we could do a weekly release if we wanted to, if we had something willing to press. And so I released that pretty quickly, as often as I could. And it had some following. Unfortunately, yeah, it died. I'm not the best at editing, and I looked up Anime in Atlantic hadn't had a show in a few years. Apparently, the chairman isn't doing too well. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Pretty much they melded with Katsucon, Netsucon, and NecoCon. And I think NecoCon's pretty much on the end because I think it was the same people behind it. I have not been in touch with those people in years. I think the only person I'm really in touch with regularly that I talk to that is involved a bit with the cons is Steve Bennett, who is the voice of Iron Cat Studios. who was from Fredericksburg, and we chat every now and then. He's now, I think, in Alaska, but he still does cons. I went to AMA 5, Kroger Center, when I met you. Okay. 2 years at the convention. Yeah, the convention center, 06 and 07 were the convention center. And I think there was a big to do with 07 that got him kicked out of the convention center. They got kicked out of the convention center, which was weird. Richmond does not like weird things, apparently, or it didn't in its past, and it kind of shows. Richmond is the hometown of Gwar, but Gwar was banned from Richmond. So those who don't know, the band Gwar is a local Richmond band, and they were banned from the city, never to play. So they played as Rog when they came to Richmond. And all they did is they took their costumes off and they still played their music. But Richmond is a very weird place because of that. And like I said, there are some nice voice talents that come from here. There's some other talents that come from this area. In fact, going back to Joey the Anime Man, his girlfriend Aki, who's popular in her own sense, she's a local of Richmond. Ever think of casting couch for your series if you were to made into an anime? Who would you want to voice? Who in the English dub? Oh God. Well, I think there's only one character I've ever thought of exactly who I'd want to voice, and that is Chris Sabat, Chris Sabat, and I want him to voice Mino, the cow, because I want to hear the voice of Piccolo shouting, "Milky Cannon." I don't know why. That's the only character I've ever really thought to voice any of my characters. Tetsu would be hard to voice. And part of that is they need to have Tetsu's story has Tetsu's voice being nicked a bit. Unofficially. So the scars on Tetsu's neck give him a bit of a scratchy voice, but it's a scratchy high-pitched voice because it was done while he was a kid. So the male voice has to be a kid, but a little bit scratchy. And the female voice would be softer. So Tetra would be softer tone. Mine would be a powerful, sort of energetic voice. Ino would be soft tone. I'd almost say if I were to pick anyone that's a voice actor to do Ino's voice, it would be the voice of Fluttershy from My Little Pony. Because I want that soft, squeaky voice for her. And Kyle would have to be somebody who can sing. Anybody else? I mean, I haven't really thought too much more about it. I mean, like I said, the only one I can think of is Chris Sabat doing Mino, and it's just simply because I want that sort of the concept of the special beam cannon being the Milky Cannon. I want to hear that voice. If I ever did run into Chris, I'd ask him if he could say that word. I remember Highland from Filer, Channeling, Lucy Christian, Ben Dinsky as main protagonist, and Steve Bloom as the final antagonist. I've not. Some of them I know of. Lucy Christian, yeah. Steve Bloom, of course. I was honest, dude. Have you noticed that Taco Bell fry commercial has Steve Bloom? That they did. The animated commercial had Steve Bloom in it. Was in Richmond when it moved out. It lost interest. Yeah, it did. It did. I mean, it was the first Central Virginia. It started as the first Central Virginia con, and it was another thing to be ripped to the south or north of Richmond, which was the sad part, because anything up north of, wait, what? Yeah, Steve Bloom is in the Taco Bell fry commercial. That is the anime fry commercial. If you check it out, watch the full thing. Steve Bloom is in it. I was surprised, but I mean, his voice is non mistakable. So I mean, you can easily hear Spike Spiegel, aka Tom from Toonami, saying those, speaking in that role. Yeah, Nacho Fries Force. I don't know if it was like a cheap or quick paycheck for him, just to do like 2 lines, but yeah, it was just 2 lines in that Nacho Fry Force. I also thought Keith David was doing the voice of God in Halayan Fighter or maybe Wrath. Keith David's amazing voice. Oh my god. Uh I I mean, hell, it's fucking Goliath, man. If there's any property Disney needs to bring back, it's Gargoyles, honestly. But they need to do it true. They need to go dark with it. They can't do the final season. Oh, what they did to it. It needs to be a dark series. That would get me back on Disney Plus, honestly. If they did a true Gargoyles reboot, that would be great. But they would have to bring Keith David back and to do the voice of Goliath because there's no other voice. He cameoed in Ducktales. I have not watched the final season of Ducktales. That ticks me off. That's the one thing I regret losing Disney Plus before the final season. Um, I need to sit down and watch the final season. I was amused that they did a Darkwing Duck episode. I did know about that because, of course, that was all over the web. Um, I loved Darkwing Duck as a TV series because it was humorous. Given I was a teenager when it came out, but in high school, but I still loved it. I mean, hell, I watched Sailor Moon as a senior in high school, so got my ass up every morning to watch that sucker at 5 in the morning. I'm glad the Disney Afternoon was a great program. I got into it. I was there when Gummy Bears started. Okay, so I remember Disney Afternoon quite well. Did you know Jordan Peele was one of the directors considered for the film reboot, for a film reboot for the series? I did not. I know they were talking about it, but I don't think they've ever. I don't know if they were gonna do it. But I mean, with Gargoyles, it needs to be dark. It cannot be the cheerful, humorous angle. Um, I love, and I was watching a video about Gargoyles and the making of. I love the concept that before anything, Xanatos, with the creation of Xanatos in that series, you really didn't have an understanding villain in most fiction other than maybe Magneto. Um, and even then, Magneto wasn't that very understanding of a character, um, of a villain, where he's a villain, but he's also important to the world in some manner. And is that is he good? Is he bad? Moment. It's 90s writing. We need 90s writing to come back to television and movies, um, because some of the stuff was really good, and they kind of poo poo it these days. And I don't know about the way that Marvel movies are going, but I want to see more of the '90s come into play in the Marvel films, especially with the reboot of X-Men for this series. Let's see. To be fair, I was tired of their stupid rules at age group. I hated how useless I cosplayed as something that was mainstream and cool at the time, but no one knew who I was. Yeah, yeah. You always cosplayed Terry Bogart, and, that I recall, and it was really hard to. I know a lot of people didn't realize who Terry Bogart was. I knew him because I think at the time one of the things I did during my short time off during colleges was play video games in the arcade at college, and I played a lot of Final Fighters and Monster or what's it Darkstalkers, and so I knew who Terry Bogart was for a while. Um, yeah, Magneto reminded me of Bloom. Briefly played Wolverine in the short-lived Nicktoon series. He played Wolverine a couple of times actually. He played him in some other animated progresses and in video games. In fact, the Lego X-Men, I think he comes back as Wolverine. Um, so I mean, I might play that actually on the stream one time because I need to start playing some games that will not crash all the time like Fallout's been doing. Um, I tried Disgaea on Friday to the horrible game player I am. If you hadn't watched I got my ass kicked by mid boss twice, and never completed it, and the stream cut out on me with purpose, I guess. I didn't even realize the stream cut out until later. But yeah, mid boss kicked my ass, and I am not too happy about that. But yeah, no, Steve Bloom played Wolverine a couple times. He's played a couple other roles in the universe, but I mean, hell, I think he's been Wolverine more than most people played Wolverine. I have to post some Pokemon Nuzlocke eventually. I tried a Nuzlocke. I'm gonna do another Nuzlocke, probably if I can get Pokemon working. Problem is I can't get an emulator working properly for the stream to work. If I can find a good emulator, I'd probably do another Nuzlocke. We tried a Nuzlocke with the fan-made game. I think it was Pokemon Omega or something like that. Or Omniverse or something like that. And we got wrecked. I mean, we made it pretty far for a randomized Nuzlocke, but we still got our asses wrecked. I might go back to that game and play it regularly on a stream, because it is a fan-made game. But yeah, getting my ass wrecked was just horrible in that game. But then it was randomized, so I don't know what I was coming across, and I ended up coming across some major legendaries from the get-go. I think we actually may have completed our art-wise of our character. Let me take out the sketches here and try and zoom around and make sure I'm not missing any spots. Yeah, I think we've got our character here. So yeah, and it's definitely, I'll probably add another Nuzlocke if people have interest in any kind of game to play for the streams, for the gaming streams. You know, make suggestions. We could do the other Fallout games. We could do GTA. If people want to join in with a Minecraft game, unfortunately, as I reported on Friday's game, the Minecraft game that was kind of popular with some of the streaming. Um, one more to go this month. Yes, one more. I have a horror one to do next week. Um, because they requested a very horrifying scene. So we're going to be doing a horror character for Halloween. Um, but yeah, the Minecraft game that I was playing, we lost the server when I got the mods put in appropriately. So we're going to be beginning from scratch again on Wednesday. Uh, that's fine. You repeated. That's fine. YouTube does that at times. But yeah, we will. I'll be happy to do some streams if people want me to do an open world, so they can come and get involved with the Minecraft game. That'll be great. If people want to just have a chat session or something, I might do some viewing anime in the future, reviews or something. One of the plan originally when I started doing streaming was to do an anime review show. I went to Kai Kusanagi and then Leon Kennedy, or Kyo Kusanagi and then Leo Kennedy from. Okay. Oh yeah, you did Leon. I thought you did Terry. Okay. Most people didn't recognize the Mark of the Wolves version of Terry. I did. Okay. I do remember because I remembered you did Terry, and I remember you did Leon at one point. Also, I forgot about Leon though, off the top of my head. In fact, you asked me to draw you as Terry when you were dressed as Leon. Um, back at the con. Trying to think of some of the other stuff here. But yeah, if people want in the future with these streams to have an anime review, I already do anime reviews on Mondays of the end of the month with another stream group. We, in fact, that's part of the reason why I was watching Psycho Pass this morning. Is because it was my request of the group to do Psycho Pass this month. So we're going to be reviewing Psycho Pass on Monday. And that occurs at 9 p.m. on the channel of Septum Sem versus the World. And we do that as an anime group. But if people want me to do more recent anime, sort of review into some of the anime currently, or do manga reviews or something, that'd be great. I'll be happy to add those to streams. They can do just quick little streams. We, of course, have the live reading streams, where if you have a story, I'll be happy to do it. This week, we're going to be doing scary stories from the internet for Halloween. While last week we did the you're not late. What about the request? Was the one requested particular request for next Saturday? Is it the Turning Ghoul? Is it the also review Nanohana? You should review Nanohana. I've watched Nanohana. It's been a while, but I have watched it. Let me see if I can pull up my schedule here. Because I still have it open. All right, let's see here. Dining and Doodles requests. All right. So let me zoom in here. Is yours the Jelena Valkyrie profile as her ghoul? Because that's next week's request. Damien Tran. Because I'm not sure if it's not on this list currently on the screen. Let me know. I'll be sure to add yours because I do have 2 open slots right now for the rest of the year. The Christmas drawing is something I'm just going to do on Christmas. It's just going to be a quick stream. Mine was the Jelena one. Okay, so yeah, we got you set for next week. So yeah, next week we'll be doing Jelena Valkyrie profile as returning to Ghoul, which is based off of the scene in the game. Um, it is not a pretty creature. It's kind of something of okay, okay, Damien Angry Birds. Okay, not a problem. And then of course after that, I've got a request for OC character to Noxus from Final Fantasy 15. So that's a masking one. We have the Lolita Lee, the younger version from Jenny on YouTube that was requested last week's stream. It's going to be a drawing of a real life person. And then we have an Adventurer Girl, which is one that's requested on DeviantArt. I'm going to be redrawing that Serena that we did last week or the week before. It was not an OC. It was the Serena. It's supposed to be Serena for Pokemon, so I'm going to be redrawing that one on the 27th. And then we will be getting to Sven the reindeer eating a carrot with Nico the reindeer. And I pushed that one all the way back because Penny Selly 88 wanted it more towards this holiday season. So that's after Thanksgiving. That's in December. That's the only reason why that one's gotten pushed back. Otherwise, that would have been in the one right after next one. So I wanted to do that more Christmassy theme there. And I'll have a Christmas drawing on Christmas. So I'll have a special stream on Christmas Eve or Christmas Day. And we'll be doing a special stream on the 10th, right now scheduled for Embry Arts. I will be going over the past history of the 25 years of being an anime fan, and doing projects in fandom for 25 years. And I will be doing a live drawing of a comic page of Demon Blade as I do it. So there's going to be the first time I will show people how to draw a comic in full. Will be on the December 10th. All of this is still subject to change if work changes the situation. So I mean, if I get a job, I might have to reschedule some of these streams. I'm going to try and keep story time and the Dining and Doodles at their scheduled times. So even if I do get a job, 8 p.m. Saturdays are going to be regularly Dining and Doodles, and our Storytime streams on Thursdays at 7 p.m. are going to be a regular time for those. Gaming streams are the ones that are going to be flipping around for other things because they're less needed. They're more here because Twitch loves them more. And then, of course, the Embry Art stream is going to be a long stream. It's going to start at 12 p.m., so 12 noon on the 10th of December. And that's going to go probably until about 10 o'clock at night, that night. But I mean, like I said, it's covering 25 years of me being involved in anime and manga through the years, and in the industry, people I've known, people I've dealt with, and being part of the fandom. And I'll be pulling up artwork that people have never seen and some people have not seen in years while I do that. As well as imagery from there. On this page also, while we're seeing it, since I've got it up, if you follow us with the Patreon weekly results on DeviantArt, as I announced in this stream, DeviantArt's been asking and sort of pressuring me to do a sort of similar tier system Patreons. But right now, this is the schedule for Patreon. As far as releases are going, Fox Fairies, which is the fairy tale comic that's been going on for a while now. I've not talked with the creator or the person who's made the request where they want to take the story. It's getting to the point where I'm bringing it to an end, and where we may continue from another point of the story, or if we want to go elsewhere with their creations. So the story I've written so far is coming to an end there. MPW, which is Magical Princess War, that's going on. I might have to do a stream specifically of Magical Princess War. That is from a good friend of mine. In fact, Septum Sen versus the World is the person who made that request, and we're finally going to get to the big reveal of that series. I'm saving it for page 75, but I might do it earlier. Night of the Monsters is a continuation of uh, or is the story is a fan made story of Sword Art Online. You can check that out. It is Halloween-esque story. I'm kind of regretting that it's not coming out before or on Halloween. Imagine a comic dub of MPW. I think I don't know fully. I do have a few people that are asking to do some comic dubbing of my comics. I think they're interested in MPW. I don't know. There is 73 issues, and it's a lot. It's a just crossover or after crossover of the series, and I think the doors are gonna be blown wide once I get to the big reveal of who is the alternate people in this universe that stars after. Once I make that big reveal, it's going to be it's pretty much going to open up to anybody can be added into this comic. Costume Shop is continuation of Final Fantasy 15. One of the fans that continuously requests Final Fantasy. In fact, they were the ones to have the OC to Nox's request on the list here. Teacher's Punishment, which is, of course, the fan love series that is an original creation, is continuing. I don't personally know where it's going fully. I know who's where, some of the characters involved and some of the secrets, but I get them script by script, so issue by issue. The Bet, which is another popular one, which is the Digimon comic. That's coming towards an end, I think, story-wise, unless they want to continue it another way. We're about to get to a big fight. I'm gonna have to start drawing some fight scenes in the Bet, and the next page of the Bet is really gonna start fighting. Then we have Christmas Off, Doll's Master, which is a fan interpretation and crossover. More character designs for the Cooking Dojo, aka Justin, who has been referring to here. Where I also have some commissions that he's put forth that I'm working on. And of course, we've got Demon Blade 2020. If you want to see fan made non-canon Demon Blade stories that are out there, there's the 1,000 subscriber special, and then there's the Demon Blade 2020, which is 20,000 or 2,020 people subscribing in 2020, which is why it got that title, Demon Blade 2020. I'm trying to finish that up. I was not a big fan of the last page. I struggled on it, and I regret it. I might redraw it in the future. But for right now, I'm waiting to try and open up things. Now that Drawtober is over in my part, it's just a matter of releases. I will be opening up a lot more art to be done in the next few weeks. So until I get some actual physical work on my own, I'll be doing a lot more artwork. So we'll definitely, one of the bigger things is Demon Blade will be coming out with multiple pages a week. I've been starting to get requests about that through our multiple web providers, the website providers, to release at least 2 pages of Demon Blade a week. So I'm going to try and do that. So you're going to start seeing Demon Blade come out a little bit faster. Given it's going to be a lot more action, literally in 2 to 3 pages from where it's currently released. But it will be off next week while I take care of some things. But I will be releasing probably on Patreon the pages anyway. So tune in, enjoy. As always, if you are a fan of any of the stuff I do, please like, comment, and subscribe on these. It does help with the algorithm. It helps me get more attention through streams and whatnot. I thank all three of you, Damian Tran, Caliburn13, and Cooking Dojo, for your contributions today through commenting. I also thank Caliburn13 for our art. So let me go back to our art for today. Let me grab it. We're going to go back to our wonderful art piece today. So being able to do Ragnarok, and as I said, I'm going to read that manga myself probably tonight, or get started on it. And as always, if you have a request of a drawing you want done to be added to the list, as I just showed, please leave a comment in the messages here or message me through social media. I'll be happy to add it to the list. And additionally, the same goes for stories. If you're a writer, you want some stories read on our Thursday streams, that's exactly what that is for. I am opening it up to other writers to come in and read their stories. We've had one person contribute so far, and then we've had some other stuff. I cannot fully read published content without permission for too much long, so I cannot. So I did one issue of Konosuba, but I cannot do more than that without permission of the creator. I'd love to keep doing Konosuba. I'd love to keep doing other stories. As long as I got my own, I can do those. But I'd love to hear other people's stories and sort of change up the variety and let people decide if they want to see more future content in that way. And as always, join us for the gaming streams. I welcome people to come in and just chat there. I'm just horsing around in those games and mainly talking back to the game. If there's a social media game you want me to play, send me a link. I'll work on it. And yeah, overall, it's a great thing. And now I got to get to our sponsor. I will say I'm running low on these. I have to get them myself. I got to put in an order soon for Built Bar. They currently are having a sale on 2 of their products that are not and I repeat, not the bars themselves. They are having a sale currently on the Built Broth, which I love the chicken broth. It is basically just a packet of broth, and they have both chicken and bone broth. And they also have the Built Immune System drinks, which I think is Built Boost, what they're called. They are basically flavor additives you add to water. While I've been working on this stream today, I've been drinking out of a Built Boost. Apple and pomegranate was the flavor I've been drinking today. But I have their Built Bars. I stand by them. I asked them to be a sponsor of these streams simply because I love their products, and they were like, hey, we have sponsorship officers. So it's like, yeah, let's do that. They are absolutely delicious. They focus on flavor first on all their products. And they are all low calorie, low carb, and high in protein. But even better are those bars, those Built Bars. They are great replacements for candy bars. Low sugar, low fat, absolutely. So go to built.com/embryarts and for a 10% off of your order today. They are a wonderful product, and they have wonderful products down the line. Check them out and enjoy. And until next time, I hope to see you all in the next stream, where we will be doing a little bit of horror, and I might do a little bit of next week for talking. We'll probably do a little bit of Halloween-esque stories, maybe some horror stories as we do that on top of the horror stories we do on Thursday. So I'll see you then, and have a good night, a good week, and a good year.